I need a husband by tomorrow, she said. I laughed, until I realized she wasn't joking. By the end of that night, she was standing at my door with a suitcase. And by morning, her entire family believed I was her husband. What started as a lie, turned into the most dangerous decision of my life. Watch till the end, because this story doesn't end the way you think. And before it does, make sure you subscribe. She said it like she was ordering coffee. I need a husband by tomorrow. I laughed, because that's what you do when something is so absurd your brain refuses to process it. But she didn't laugh back. She stood there, arms crossed, eyes tired, lips pressed tight like she'd already made peace with something terrible. I'm serious, she said. We were sitting in my car outside a 24-hour diner at 1:17 a.m. Neon lights flickered above us, buzzing like an insect that refused to die. Rain streaked down the windshield, blurring the reflection of her face, beautiful, yes, but more than that, exhausted in a way that makeup can't hide. You're joking, I said. Right. She shook her head slowly. If I don't show up married tomorrow, my life is basically over. That's when I stopped laughing. Her name was Lena. We'd met exactly 3 weeks earlier when she moved into the apartment across the hall from mine. Thin walls, shared laundry room, awkward elevator rides. She was the kind of woman you notice without trying to. Quiet confidence, soft voice, eyes that looked like they'd seen too much too early. But husband by tomorrow. That was a new level of crazy. Okay, I said carefully. Let's pretend I believe you. Why tomorrow? She exhaled and leaned her head back against the seat. Because tomorrow is my engagement party. I stared at her. Your what? My engagement party. My parents planned it. Whole family's coming. Friends. Business partners. Everything. And, you're not engaged. I ran away, she said simply. The rain got heavier. Ran away from who? I asked. My fiancé. My life. My future. All of it. Silence stretched between us, thick and uncomfortable. You could just tell them the truth, I said. She laughed then, but it was bitter. You don't know my family. She turned to face me fully now. Where I come from, a woman doesn't cancel an engagement. She doesn't say no. She doesn't change her mind. She obeys. So you want to fake a husband, I said. By tomorrow. Yes. And you came to me because you're the only man I know who isn't connected to my family, she said. And because you look honest. That one hit harder than it should have. I can't just pretend to be your husband, I said. That's insane. I know, she said quickly. I'm not asking you to marry me for real. Just stand next to me. Hold my hand. Say you're my husband. And then what? Then I disappear again. I rubbed my face. This is a terrible idea. I'll pay you, she said. No. I'll cook. No. I'll clean. No. I'll owe you my life. That made me pause. Why me? I asked again, softer this time. She swallowed. Because if I go back there alone, they'll force me to marry him anyway. I didn't ask who him was. I didn't need to. I'd seen that fear before, on my mother's face, on my sister's, on women who learned early that choice was a luxury. You said you need a husband by tomorrow, I said slowly. She nodded. I looked at her, really looked at her. The way her hands trembled slightly. The way her shoulders were tense like she was always bracing for impact. Then you'll have to come and live at my place, I said. Her eyes widened. What? If I'm your husband, I continued, it has to look real. You can't just show up married and then vanish. People will ask questions. They'll visit. They'll call. She stared at me like I'd just offered her a gun. I'm not asking for anything weird, I added quickly. Separate rooms. Boundaries. Respect. But if we do this, we do it properly. She was silent for a long time. What if I say no? She finally asked. Then I drive you home and forget this conversation ever happened. And if I say yes? Then you pack a bag, I said. And tomorrow, we lie to everyone. Her breath shook. You don't even know me, she whispered. I know you're scared, I said. And I know you wouldn't ask this if you had another choice. She looked down at her hands, then back up at me. There were tears in her eyes now, stubborn ones she refused to let fall. Okay, she said. I'll come. The word settled between us like a contract signed in blood. That night, she moved into my apartment with a single suitcase. I gave her my spare room. Fresh sheets. A towel. A glass of water she barely touched. Thank you, she said quietly, standing in the hallway like she didn't belong anywhere. Get some sleep, I told her. Tomorrow's going to be a lot. She nodded and disappeared into the room. I didn't sleep. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering how the hell my quiet, predictable life had turned into a fake marriage in less than 24 hours. At 6 a.m., she knocked on my door. She was dressed differently now, hair pulled back, posture straighter. Like she'd put on armor. Good morning, she said. Husband. I winced. Don't say it like that. She smiled faintly. We should practice. That's when I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just a lie anymore. This was a role. And if we played it wrong, it would destroy her. And if we played it too well, it might destroy me too. By noon, my apartment didn't feel like mine anymore. Lena stood in front of the bathroom mirror, adjusting a simple light blue dress she'd borrowed from a friend. Her hair was down now, falling in soft waves over her shoulders. She looked calm, but I could see it, the way her fingers kept brushing the fabric, the way she took slightly deeper breaths than normal. You okay? I asked. She nodded too quickly. I will be. I handed her a cup of coffee. You don't have to do this. She met my eyes in the mirror. Yes, I do. At exactly 2:30 p.m., we got into my car. Her engagement party, no, her former engagement party, was being held at a large family estate just outside the city. White gates. Perfect lawn. Strings of lights already glowing even though the sun was still up. As we drove, Lena's phone buzzed nonstop. She didn't answer. What happens when we walk in? I asked. She swallowed. My mother will cry. My father will smile politely and ask questions that sound kind but aren't. And her voice tightened. He'll be there. The fiancé. Yes. What's his name? Adrian. The way she said it told me everything. We pulled up to the gate. A valet opened my door. Lena hesitated. I reached for her hand, not because we'd planned it, but because it felt necessary. Her fingers curled into mine instantly, like she'd been waiting for it. Remember, I said quietly. We're married. She nodded. For today. For today, I repeated. The moment we stepped inside, conversation stopped. Not all at once, but enough that I felt it. Eyes turned. Whispers started. Lena's grip tightened. Her mother spotted her first. Lena, she said, disbelief sharp in her voice. Where have you been? Before Lena could answer, I stepped forward. I'm sorry, I said calmly. We got in late last night. Her mother blinked. Lena inhaled, then spoke clearly. Mom, Dad, this is my husband. Silence slammed down like a door. Her father approached slowly, studying me. Your husband. Yes, sir, I said, extending my hand. Why wasn't I informed? He interrupted, shaking my hand firmly. It happened. Quickly, I replied, but not without thought. Lena looked at me, surprised. Her mother's eyes filled with tears. Married. Without telling us. I tried to tell you I didn't want the engagement, Lena said softly. Her mother turned sharp. And so you run off and marry a stranger. I'm not a stranger, I said evenly. I love your daughter. The word love hung in the air. Lena's breath caught. Across the room, a man stood frozen. Tall, well-dressed, perfect posture. His jaw tightened as he stared at us. That's Adrian, Lena whispered. He walked toward us slowly, smile fixed but eyes dark. So, he said, stopping in front of me. You must be the husband. I am. He laughed lightly. Interesting. Because Lena and I were supposed to be married next month. I know, I said. She chose differently. He turned to Lena. Is this true? She straightened. Yes. You ran away, he said quietly. No explanation. No goodbye. And now you're married. Yes. To him. She nodded. Something dangerous flickered behind his eyes. You expect us to believe this? He asked. I wrapped an arm around Lena's waist instinctively. She doesn't need your permission anymore, I said. Adrian's smile vanished. Careful. Enough, Lena's father said sharply. Today is not the day for drama. Adrian took a step back, but his eyes never left Lena. We'll talk later, he said to her. There is no later, she replied. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. Questions. Smiles that didn't reach eyes. Forced congratulations. Lena stayed close to me the entire time. Sometimes her hand would tremble, and I'd squeeze it gently without thinking. At one point, her aunt leaned in and whispered, "You two look comfortable." I smiled. We are. Later, Lena pulled me aside to the balcony. I can't breathe, she whispered. I didn't think it would be like this. You're doing great, I said. They believe it. She laughed weakly. That's what scares me. That's when Adrian appeared again. Can I speak to Lena alone? He asked. No, I said immediately. Her father hesitated, then nodded. 5 minutes. In the garden, Lena looked at me, panic flashing across her face. It's okay, I said quietly. I'll be right here. She followed Adrian outside. Those 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. When Lena came back, her face was pale. What did he say? I asked. He said he'll expose everything, she whispered. He knows this is fake. My chest tightened. How? He said I don't look at you the way I looked at him. I didn't answer. I told him he was wrong, she continued. But I don't know if I convinced him. I looked at her. Do you trust me? I asked. Yes. Then let me handle this. I walked straight toward Adrian. You want proof? I said quietly. Watch. I turned back to Lena, cupped her face gently, and kissed her. Not a performance kiss. Not rushed. Slow. Certain. Intimate. Gasps echoed behind us. When I pulled back, Lena was shaking, but she didn't pull away. Adrian stared, stunned. That's not fake, I said. And if you come near her again, I won't be this polite. That night, back at the apartment, neither of us spoke for a long time. Finally, Lena whispered, You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did, I said. Why? I didn't answer immediately. Because somewhere between holding her hand and kissing her in front of everyone, the lie had started to feel dangerous. And maybe, real. We didn't talk about the kiss that night. Lena went to her room quietly. I stood in the kitchen long after, staring at nothing, replaying the way her hands had clutched my shirt, the way she hadn't hesitated. I told myself it was adrenaline. Fear. Survival. But when I finally lay down, sleep wouldn't come. Morning arrived too soon. Lena was already awake when I stepped out. She was sitting on the couch, knees pulled to her chest, wearing one of my hoodies like it had always belonged to her. Good morning, she said softly. Morning. There was an awkward pause, heavy with everything we weren't saying. Adrian won't stop, she said finally. He called my father last night. I felt my stomach drop. What did he say? That you're lying. That I'm lying. That there's no marriage certificate. No witnesses. No proof. I ran a hand through my hair. And your father? He said he wants to meet you. Alone. Silence. When? I asked. Today. Noon. We sat there, the weight of it pressing down on us. You can walk away, she said suddenly. I'll understand. You've already done more than enough. I looked at her. Really looked at her. The fear was still there, but beneath it was something else now, strength, trying to break through. If I walk away, I said, what happens to you? She swallowed. They'll make me go back. Marry Adrian. End of story. I exhaled slowly. Then I'm not walking away. Her eyes widened. You don't owe me that. I know, I said. I'm choosing it. At noon, I sat across from her father in his study. Dark wood. Heavy books. A man used to control. You understand the position you've put my daughter in, he said. Yes, I replied. And I take it seriously. You have no legal proof of this marriage, he said flatly. No, I admitted. Because it was rushed. Convenient. Necessary, I corrected. He leaned forward. Why should I believe you love her? I didn't answer right away. Because love isn't something you prove with words. Because she's safe with me, I said finally. Because she laughs at night now instead of crying. Because when she panics, she reaches for my hand without thinking. His gaze sharpened. You've known her less than a month. And yet, I said, I know she hates being told what to do. I know she drinks tea when she's anxious even though she prefers coffee. I know she pretends to be brave for everyone else but falls apart when she's alone. He went quiet. Adrian wants power, I continued. I want her choice. A long pause. If this is real, he said slowly, prove it. How? Marry her. For real. The air left my lungs. That evening, I told Lena everything. She listened without interrupting, eyes shining with unshed tears. He's giving me a choice, she whispered. A real one. Yes, I said. But it means I'm not just pretending anymore. She stood up, pacing. This was supposed to be temporary. I know. What if we ruin each other? That's always a risk, I said quietly. She stopped in front of me. Do you love me? The question hit harder than anything else. I don't know if it's love yet, I said honestly. But I know I don't want to lose you. Tears spilled over then. I've spent my whole life doing what others wanted, she said. For once, I want to choose. She took my hands. I choose you. 2 weeks later, we stood in a small courthouse. No crowd. No spectacle. Just us. When the judge pronounced us husband and wife, Lena squeezed my hand so tightly it hurt. This time, it wasn't a lie. That night, we sat on the floor of our apartment eating takeout, laughing like kids. I asked for a husband by tomorrow, she said, smiling. I didn't expect a home. I pulled her into my arms. You got both. Months later, when people ask how we met, she always says the same thing. I was running away. And I always add, she didn't know she was running toward me. Sometimes, the best love stories don't start with romance. They start with fear, and a lie that turns into truth.